Good evening, everybody. Jim Stevenson, Tournament Director for Minnesota Tournament Trail. Uh, Kicking off here tonight with Darren Amundsen from Fish Donkey. As everybody knows, or most people know, we're moving over to using a virtual live well with an app this year, tournament tracking app, rather than the old SD card method. So we've got Darren going to jump on here with us to go over all the questions you might have. If you have a question that pops up, pop up. Otherwise, Darren is going to kind of tell us the ins and outs of the app from the angler standpoint, from the app developer standpoint, tournament director, all of the capabilities and functionalities of the app. So we'll grab Darren here and we'll get after it.
Hey, hi everybody.
Yes. Hey, everybody. Darren Amundsen with Fish Donkey, one of the app owners. Some of you may or may not have met Darren out and about in the past. These guys do a lot of tournaments through Fish Donkey. It's really becoming a standard with the catch photo release format of tournament fishing now. Put a lot of time and work and money and energy and all those things into making this what we want it to be. So yeah, Darren, give us your spiel. Let us know kind of what you're doing, what these guys can expect if they've never used it. A lot of our folks have probably used it. It's been around a while.
Yeah, we started in the summer of 2018 and we didn't really market it right away. So we have been around a while. We didn't really market it, so we didn't do a lot of tournaments, but we just kind of wanted to start slow, get all the bugs out and everything. And now we haven't had to do any updates for like a year and a half now. Everything's going smooth. The app works. So if you have trouble using it, it's just a couple things. You need to practice really. When you join our app, it's going to give you, it'll put you right into a practice tournament so that you can try it out. And you're going to want to give our app full permissions. It asks for location, and we use location to make sure you're in bounds, but we don't share it with the tournament director. So the tournament director doesn't know where you're fishing, and other anglers don't know where you're fishing. That's held secret by Fish Donkey, so you don't have to worry about that. Just give it full permissions. Give it full permissions for your camera also. We're not going to get into your phone and look at all your pictures from your birthday party or anything like that. It's just we need full permission because we have this anti-cheating software built into our app. It stops anglers from uploading old photos or altered photos. And so the reason we need full permission is our app actually takes control of your camera, and it takes control of camera, and it takes all the photos and videos. And so it's a big part of cheating prevention is making sure that there's nothing altered and nothing old that gets sent into the app. I think all tournaments are eventually going to go this way. It's better for fish. It's easier to run. There's just a lot of benefits to the angler. I think, I was listening to Jim's last StreamYard, and he was talking about how, the start and stop times are built right into the app. So at the end of the day, you're not beating your boat back for a weigh-in or, even to exchange a card. You can actually, if all your photos have uploaded already, you can just take your leisurely time back. You don't have to beat your equipment and beat yourself up. It also, and I don't know if you guys are going to use this, but it also, we do a video live well check-in, and we've done that for some of the tournaments, like Green Bay Walleye Series used to do that a lot. And if it was like really, really windy in Green Bay, they would allow the anglers to leave from different locations, and they would just do the digital live well check. So your very first video and entry of the day is a check-in, check every compartment in the boat, look at the anglers in the boat, make sure there's no lines in the water, all that stuff. So that's possible, whether you use it or not, or whether you need to, I don't know. But it's possible. We are.
You've actually answered a bunch of handful of the questions that have come up already. So there's the location part of it. Full permission to your phone is for location service it's not for me as a tournament director. Other anglers don't see where you're fishing. If you upload a fish, in the event we use a live leaderboard, you wouldn't be able to see where somebody's catching a fish. It doesn't say that Jim Stevenson caught a fish right here, so people know where to go. It doesn't give any of that information out. And then the take control of your camera thing. So there's been a handful of questions that have come up. I've fielded about a handful of phone calls about, what if. When anglers are taking their pictures and their video release of their fish, they're going to notice, right? Like the picture goes to their digital live well, their virtual live well, but it also saves a copy of that picture and that video to their camera roll. Although they can't upload from their camera roll, it saves a copy to their phone. So, right. When you do when these guys are doing their hero shot, if they have, their personal best fish or something, and that picture is there and they want that picture, after the tournament, the picture is on their phone. But you can't take a picture from the week before or the day before during pre-fishing, and you can't upload that because of the camera being controlled by the app. So that's part of that anti-cheating software that you mentioned. And, the start and stop time, the jury's still out on that. A lot of guys really like that time management part of derby fishing. So we can do whatever we want. The app gives us a lot of opportunity. We can stop fishing at 3:00 and have everybody has to have their pictures submitted by 3:30. Just rough. I mean, those are just random times I'm throwing out. Or we can say you have to have your pictures submitted at 3:00 and you have to be in at 3:00. And make that management part of it. So there are no.
Yeah, I personally like that too. I liked that when we were at the Chili Bowl and everybody's taking off, and I was like, it's really cool, right?
Yeah, really cool. And part of that is like if you make the decision, on Lake of the Woods to run an hour north, and all of a sudden the weather changes and you got to really manage your time to get back so you don't get disqualified. And ironically, one of the anglers that reached out to me said, "Hey, I got penalized because I was 2 minutes late on a tournament a couple of years back, and that was my choice, that was my fault, kind of a thing." Just don't be afraid of the app, so to speak. There's really very, very little to fear. Darren was nice enough late last year. He mentioned the Chili Bowl. We went up and co-hosted the Chili Bowl, and Darren came up and spent the day with myself and a couple others, just working through all of the things with the app. And he keeps telling me as a tournament director, "Man, this is easy. This is easy. This is easy." And you kind of feel like, I've heard all that before. Like, this software is super easy. This software is super easy. It'll make your life, beautiful and wonderful and sunshine and rainbows. And boy, I got to tell you, from a tournament director standpoint, FishDonkey really has everything that we need, that we've already been doing. It just puts it all in one place, and we don't have to worry about a bad card, or like we've had there's been issues in the past from time to time where a team doesn't know their card is bad in their camera because the camera will save maybe one fish worth of pictures to the internal memory of the camera. They go to take a picture of the next fish, and it says that not enough memory to upload or whatever. It could be a formatting issue. It could be a card that got wet the tournament before and is wrecked and we didn't know it. So it really helps with some of those things, and it really, really helps, on our end to just expedite the afternoon and getting ready for awards. Up at the Chili Bowl on the river, we had people that were catching fish it's like 6 or 7 minutes after they launched. There was people already weighing a fish, and I can, as from the tournament director's side, at 7:10, if you weigh your first fish, I can verify that fish at 7:10. It's just super cool. It's super smooth.
Yeah, that does help you because you can do a little bit throughout the day, although you don't have to do all of them throughout the day. Let's see, you were saying something. I was going to. Oh, you mentioned the storage thing. That is something that you can still you can still mess up and run out of storage. The thing is, like, your phone tells you when you run out of storage. When you're trying to take photos, it starts telling you, hey, everything's not going to work right. And so one of the things that's actually the problem that we see a lot is, it seems like everybody, I don't know if it's just all these apps and Google and iPhone, and everybody seems to be filling up everybody's storage on their phone. It's like they're trying to force us to get new phones. I just had to get a new phone. I just got it the other day. And anyway, we are seeing people run out of memory. And it doesn't stop you from taking your photos. Usually what happens is everybody takes all their photos and then they can't get them to go in. They can't, at some point it will stop you from taking photos too. But they can't get their photos to go in, and then we're like, hey, are you out of storage? And they'll delete like an app or some old data, some old videos or something that they don't use. And all of a sudden all the photos will go through. It'll be like, got one. The app says got one when it submits a fish. That's your visual, that's your audio cue that your fish is in the digital live well when it says got one. It means it started. You hit submit and it started. But yeah, that's a really, if you give everything permissions and you make sure you run the test tournament, make sure everything's working on your phone, you won't have any trouble using it.
Yeah, the other question that comes up a handful is, right here. It's on here right now. Garen's asking, honest question, signal problems with some providers. How is that navigated? Partner's phone, if it's a different provider or better signal. Darren can talk to this about this a little bit too, but there's an icon at the top of your app that will let you know if your fish have all been submitted or not. And that's why, even if we can do it kind of backwards too, like fishing stops at 3, the tournament stops at 3, you have to check in at 3, but you have till 3:30 to upload. So you could always get to Wi-Fi. We always have Starlink on our trailer. If you don't have good service, it'll still save in the cache for the app. And when you have service, or you can get to Wi-Fi at the trailer for weigh-in, you can then submit your pictures. You can, correct me if I'm wrong, Darren, if you and I are in a boat together, we can both submit fish under one user, correct? You could log into the app with the same user.
Yes, you can.
Same user.
You can log in, and both phones can be used. It's kind of nice as a backup to have a backup phone if one guy's battery goes dead or he drops it in the water or something. But the thing you can't do is, like, let's say you're in airplane mode or you have zero service. You can go out and take all your pictures and submit fish. That's no problem. When you get back to Wi-Fi, they'll upload. But what you can't do is take all the pictures on your phone, then not get them uploaded, then drop your phone in the water, because then there's no way to upload anymore from your phone up to the server. So you don't want to lose your phone or break it while you've got all those pictures in there. There's a little bit of risk that you take with going into airplane mode for the day.
I would suggest, I would recommend against it. I'm sure some folks will do that just to keep, other messaging and stuff from not coming through and bugging them while they're fishing. But that's a risk with a camera too, right? If you're out taking a picture with a camera and you set it on the gunnel of the boat and it gets knocked into the water, you're kind of in the same predicament. It's just, trying really, really, really hard to make sure that you take the pictures and stuff the phone back in the glove box of the boat or something.
That's important too. That, now that you mentioned that, putting it in the glove box is a good idea. Putting it someplace dry, right? Dry and warm, not hot, not freezing. And that way, when you're out on the water, if your hands are dry, if your hands are soaking wet and you start touching the screen, you can get the buttons won't act the way you want. Like, you try using your phone in the rain, it doesn't work. So you have to keep it dry. That is one thing that you do have to do.
Yeah. And the for those that haven't used it, in the virtual live well, when you're weighing fish. Like what does that look like? So I'm going to enter a fish, and we do a length to weight conversion. So we'll hand out the bump boards for the tournament. I check in when everybody checks it in the morning. That won't change. But instead of getting a scorecard and an SD card and a clipboard and all the stuff, you really just need to get your bump board. And if I catch a 28.5-inch walleye, how do I convert that?
Yeah, you're asking me. Yeah. So, sorry. So you don't have to. The formula is built in. So if you enter 28.5, it's going to automatically convert it for you, and you'll see both the length in inches, and then you'll see the converted value in weight. And then as a tournament director, when you make adjustments, if say that 28.5 was actually 28.25, you make that adjustment and it automatically adjusts the weight also.
Right. So on the tournament director side, what we see is if a fish was 28.5 and it has to be adjusted or penalized or however that would work from one tournament to the next, it can be we can adjust it on our end. The other thing that we saw at the Chili Bowl, we would all of a sudden we can watch the leaderboard even if it's not posted, and all of a sudden you'd have somebody that has 25,000 pounds of fish or something. Because a measurement was keyed in wrong. That gives us the opportunity to go in and put your length in for you, and if we have to adjust that length, we can reach out to you and say, hey, Darren, I had to adjust your length on the picture because you entered 200 and you entered 2,875 instead of 28.75. And that way we're able to keep the leaderboard accurate, whether it's just for us to see or others are seeing it. Jerry Kramer just asked, does it keep track of your top 5 fish? Yeah, it auto calls. So your top 5 fish on the app, it calls it. It'll keep track of your largest walleye and your stringer of 5 walleye. So your best 5 fish will automatically be your top 5. If you weigh 10 fish, it'll show your top 5. You don't have to subtract or remember to go in and change your fish out. It will automatically call your fish to the top 5.
So that's exactly right. There's a tournament. If anyone wants to fish it, that's very early. It's on the Rainy River. It's called the SJR 500. That's in the app, and I don't remember how much it is, but I think it's like $40. It's like a fun tournament, but it'd be a good one because if you're going to go.
Yeah, we're actually going to be up there. Relevant's going to be up there as a sponsor. Yeah. So yeah, the SJR 500 is super cool. I can post a link to that on the Facebook page for MTT. It's a sturgeon and walleye tournament. It's $40 to enter. It's a fundraiser. It's more just for fun. Go up, get out early, have a good time. That is the week before we open our tournaments down on the river. I will probably also put up a practice tournament during pre-fishing so that people can do what they want to do. But there's always the practice tournament in Fish Donkey where you enter your fish. You can go in and take pictures, practice, do all the things. And you can always reach out and say, hey, man, I just was in the practice tournament. I did this. Am I doing it right? Am I whatever? And we'll get back with you and we'll talk about your pictures. You'll find that you'll take a lot more really good pictures with your phone. We have better phones than we have digital cameras. Chris Berglund, is it going to be a live video watching the fish swim away as well? Yep. So you're going to take your regular pictures as well as a video release. That's a big part of the reason for this app is the ability of the video release. I had something that I just was at the top of my head and I forgot as I was reading Chris's comment.
So
yeah,
one thing, another thing that we've seen is, so like as a tournament director, you get when a fish is submitted, obviously the more pictures you take, the longer it takes to upload. So don't upload a ton if you have a connection. But like as a tournament director, you get on every photo that comes in, you get a little green valid symbol, and it says that photo has not been altered. And if by chance there is a way to alter the photo, because what could happen is, and we see this like where people fish without internet, they go out on Lake of the Woods, there's zero internet, they take their photos and they hit submit, so it's out of the app, but it hasn't hit the servers yet because it can't hit the servers because they have zero internet. And then they decide they're going to Facebook try to do some kind of a alteration to the photo for their selfie, or I don't know, their profile picture or something later, and so they go in and they change the photo before it actually gets sent into FishDonkey. And so now you have an altered photo. So as a tournament director, you get the date and timestamp of every one of those photos, plus you get that valid symbol. So that person who altered their photo, it's going to come back and say rejected. It'll be red. And we don't hardly ever see that because everybody knows not to do that because they'll get caught. But sometimes people do it by mistake because they honest mistake. They think, oh, I sent it in. And it just doesn't dawn on them that actually you cannot alter that photo until it hits the servers, or your photos are going to get rejected. So just make sure you just don't change anything. Don't delete stuff. Don't do anything to your photos until everything says received in that digital live well. It's really important to check that digital live well at the end of the day. Everything says received. After that, you can do whatever you want with your photos.
Yeah. I'm going to try something, Darren, here that I've not tried with the StreamYard platform before. It says I can share my screen. I'm going to try and I'll try and share my screen. There's a couple of practice fish that Nick Melchow put in here last fall before the Chili Bowl while he was setting up to do some other stuff. And I'll kind of show them what we see on our end with that picture. Let's see if we can get that to pop up here.
Oh, cool.
Let's see what I can. Where is that down here? Okay. Is it going along? Are you guys able to, Darren, do you see what I'm supposed to see? It just looks to me like it's the wrong screen still. Oh, here we go.
Oh, I see. There you go.
So this is what, when I log in as a tournament director, this is what I'll see. And here is what you see. Species is walleye, the size, the date, name, email, all the stuff we need to see. Can go through and I can click on the pictures and go down, and I can see the bump board picture. I can see where I can verify the measurement. And then we have,
and there's a valid symbol too.
Yep. And then we have look at that. You'll be glad I shared that. We have our hero shot here. And then
video release. Yeah.
Got it.
It's going.
This is perfect. This wasn't a tournament.
Oh, he put it in the live well.
Yeah, they were up fishing for fun. He was just trying out the app. So
cool.
Yeah, so this is 100% what we see on our end, and then we click and we validate each picture as we go. So yeah, that's what we see. Yeah, it says shouldn't be on your phone for anything. Yeah, that's part of the rules. Dennis Erickson, I don't see. It says no, not yet. Yep, now it's there. Okay. Yes, Bob, that's probably Nick's personal best. I get it. So you have to attach a video of the release with each entry, requiring person videoing to lean over the boat with the phone. Greg, you don't have to really reach over the boat with the phone. If you go from where you're holding the fish over the gunnel and we see the fish leave the hands into the water, that's how that's going to go. We don't expect you to contort yourself, hang over the side of the boat, fall in the water, or lose your phone. It works really, really, really well.
Yeah, people do it. People take their phone and hang it over the water. We get a lot of those. Just don't hit any buttons. Let it swim away, and then take the phone, and then hit the button.
And then shut it down. Just let it do your like you said, do your video, hanging over the side if you have to. However you feel you need to do it. Pull your phone back, stop the video, submit, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, it actually, it's like it's a two-part thing. One is it's cool to see how many fish are just getting released back to their natural location. Everybody likes that. But the other thing is it makes it easier on the tournament director because they know that video is showing that the fish isn't previously like frozen or something and thawed out, and also that it hasn't been thrown in the live well and remeasured. So you don't have to look at like little scales because you can zoom way in on those photos. Like you can right click, open them up in a new window, and you can zoom in so far like that you can look at individual scales and make sure it's an original fish, not the same one that was, if you enter two 28.5-inch fish within 5 minutes of each other, that's a little suspect.
And with the quality of, the one thing I want to really stress to everybody that's either watching now or will watch this after it uploads to our Facebook is we have really, really good cameras in our pocket. Most people's phone is far better for photo quality than it is than anything you're going to go buy at Walmart or Best Buy that you're going to throw in your boat for the fishing season. It really gives us the opportunity to have really good pictures. And like Darren said, if we do have to zoom in on pictures because of glare or whatever, it really does help us to have that higher quality picture. Just same rules as before, right? We just don't zoom way in. You don't have to zoom in. Take a good picture. We'll zoom in and we'll check it out. Scott Holmes says, hi, Darren. Your cousin says hi.
Who is it?
Your cousin Steve says hi.
Oh, Steve Amundsen's watching? Cool.
Scott Holmes is. Any other, how about the leaderboard? That's some folks are worried about the leaderboard, how that works. If I've got a 35-pound bag up on Lake of the Woods by noon, and they worry about people like, hey, I know where Jim fishes, often, or I know where he said he was headed. The leaderboard can either pop up at certain times. We can put it up. We can take it down. We can not publish the leaderboard. So it's not an automatic. The leaderboard is up all day as you're fishing. We're still trying to figure out exactly how that looks to see what we can do there. I would love to be able to have some sort of leaderboard at some point during the day for people watching at home, friends, family. The advantage of having that digital leaderboard out there is that we can let people at home see how people are doing. They can kind of watch, where people are at for the day. And we can shut the leaderboard down before the end at a certain time. There's the option to have it live from 8 a.m. till 11, and we shut it off the rest of the day. Like there's full control. It's not once we do something, we can't take it back. We can control if the leaderboard is up, and we can control how long it's up. or when it stops.
Yeah. And that's we've heard that about people people who say like we fish a small lake and everybody knows where Jim fishes, and so if Jim's posting big numbers, they're going to go fish where he's at. I guess that's just how it is. Or you could go into airplane mode, I guess, so no one sees any of your fish until the very end of the day. I personally think, if you can take all your, you guys know that already, you can take all your photos in a way so that you're not showing the background and people really don't know where you are. People are going to run around and chase you, maybe, I don't know. The other thing is, though, it's kind of, I like the live leaderboards because it's really cool to know, and it usually comes down to just like, hey, one more big fish. If I can get a 27, we got the lead, right? Or we're in the money. And it always seems like it kind of makes it a little more fun to fish to the leaderboard, and then do these upgrades and stuff. It's
yeah,
kind of,
that'll be a learning thing for us, right? This is new, and we'll have to see how that works. Garen says umbrellas are key for great photos in high sunny skies. There's a couple tournaments, Garen, where I could have made a lot of money selling umbrellas. I promise. Not wrong. Holding up a towel, making sure. Some guys say put splash water on the board, so if the board's wet, it doesn't glare. Whatever that is, whatever your trick is, probably the hardest pictures to look at aren't even blurry pictures. If we get one that's got a little blur or a little water spot on your camera, we can usually figure those out. The ones that have a super high glare, we've had pictures, that the whole tail of the fish disappears in the light. And if that's the case, then it's really a bummer that we can't use that fish, and we can't use it for the, we have to disqualify a whole fish, and that takes you right out of it. So
you guys DQ it if you can't see,
if it's not measurable. You can't. If
say you can see the number 27 and it's somewhere up beyond that.
Yeah, typically that fish is thrown.
Okay.
For the picture, because you can't verify that it is what it is.
Sorry, but I just don't know the rule. But what are you doing with mouth closed or mouth open? If
mouth closed, tail pinched, to the best of your ability.
What do you feel about swaying the tail?
It's pretty picture dependent.
Will that you will get DQ'd?
Yeah. If it's a bad picture, it's a bad picture.
Yeah. Okay.
We can see the pictures before we submit them to avoid the glare ? Yeah. If you take the picture and you're like, oh, that picture's not good, you can take a different picture. That is also another benefit of using your phone camera. It's so easy to do the pinch and open and zoom in on your picture. Yep, that's a good picture. Send it, and you're good.
Yeah. One thing to add though, don't wait to look at your photos until you don't want to release the fish first, because then you're screwed. What you'd have to do is do the measurement, check it if you want to check it. Usually it's really obvious that it worked. It makes the clicking sound, it takes the photo, everything. But you could check that, and make sure that that's what you want to send in, and then go back and add the video afterwards. If it was a real giant and all the money was on the line, maybe I would do that.
Yeah, and we will definitely make sure at rules meetings before our tournaments that everybody is aware that they're on the right tournament, they're doing the right thing, they're submitting fish to the right places. And with the way the redfish, bluefish, greenfish practice tournament is, that is set up specifically. So if you try to take a picture and submit it to your live well and you hit species, and the only species that comes up is redfish, bluefish, greenfish, unless you're holding on to a green fish or a blue fish or a red fish, you should know you're still in the practice tournament, and you have to leave that tournament and go go back into the tournament that you're supposed to be in. And once you're in the app in the tournament, you don't want to close out of that tournament. Just do your
Yeah.
picture, your phone will lock. When you pick your phone up and unlock it, you're back right into where you belong. And we'll go through that at rules meetings. We want this to be as successful as we can. We want everybody to have the best experience with the app as possible. So we'll take plenty of time. I've already got some signs made for check-in. You know, are you in the right tournament? You know, so that when you check in the morning, you're going to see signs when Maria's checking you in or Waylon in the morning. That's going to remind you, are you logged into the correct tournament?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you one other tip too. If you do go out, and because I do it, I mean I built the app and I still do it. I go to the wrong tournament sometimes, and you can just back out of it, go into the right tournament, right? But even if you don't, you still have an opportunity to submit it. So like say I put my fish into the practice tournament. As long as you've joined the tournament 24 hours in advance, the app's going to let you submit it. We call it cross submission. It's going to let you submit it to another tournament. So like even if you're fishing in the Minnesota Tournament Trail, and then you're also fishing in a tournament called Minnesota State Record Walleye, if you catch the state record walleye, you submit it to the tournament trail. After the tournament's over, you can hit that resubmit to another tournament, and because it's an authenticated photo, you know, everything about it is valid, date, timestamp, everything, and it can submit to another tournament. So even if you did accidentally put all your pictures, it'd be crazy if you did it, but you could put your picture into the practice tournament. You could do them all by accident and then still submit them to the Minnesota Tournament Trail afterwards.
Right. And the other part of this app is, you know, the backside, the support. You'll be able, I mean, obviously my number is posted on there. Fish Donkey is on there. You can always call during the tournament, you know, back to, you know, stay off your phone. I get it. But call and say, hey, here's the deal. I think I put a picture into the wrong tournament, whatever. It can be moved by the tournament director or Fish Donkey into the correct tournament. So you can, if you're like, oh, crumbs, I did this, I did it wrong, whatever, you can have it moved to the right spot. Darren's wife, Bonnie, helped me the first time I ever used it. I was in the middle of
That's right.
Lake in Kentucky, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. I called her, she moved it over, and it was good.
Yeah.
You know, helped us win a bass tournament in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That was your first time, right?
Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever used it when we were down in Kentucky Lake.
And then I happened to sit at your table afterwards.
Right. And that was my first time using it, and I'm, you know, not out fishing tournaments every week. I'm not a super tech savvy person. And it was super easy to use. And when I did screw up during the day, I called into the number and it was fixed super fast. So it's really, really, really good. We're excited to use it. We're excited to have you come out whenever you want to the tournaments and pop in and, you know, show us if we're doing it all right or wrong. But I think we'll do really, really well with this year. Any other questions that pop up, you know, just reach out to me by phone or reach out to us on email, Facebook Messenger, all the ways that everybody knows to get a hold of me. Most of the questions that we're going to have from anglers, I will be able to answer the majority of them. If not, Darren and Bonnie are very responsive to text and phone call for me if we have questions. So anything else you think that you got to throw out there, Darren? Otherwise, I think we kind of covered it all.
We talked a lot. I'm sure there's some stuff, but for the most part, we got it.
Yeah, I think so. We're just over a month away, and we'll be kicking things off down on the river in Red Wing. We're excited to get everybody down there, and excited to get everybody up to speed with this app. And once you've used it for one tournament, you won't be nervous. You won't be afraid of it anymore, and it'll be super easy.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the confidence because I always say apps give us a bad name because so many of them don't work, but you just need confidence that it's going to work for you. It
Yeah,
works.
and if there's a long-standing practice tournament, is there not? If they
Yeah.
want to go in and just mess around with stuff,
Yeah. It's called practice entering a fish. It's in there all the time. And then also that SGR 500 will be a fun one to do if anybody can do it. It's kind of it's on a Tuesday and Wednesday or something.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the week.
April 8th and 9th.
It's in the middle of the week. But
that'd be a great way to do it.
we will the practice entering a fish, you can go on and you can do that. And
yeah, you can do that anytime.
Yeah. Yep. And then we'll have practice tournaments. Maybe we'll put some practice tournaments out during pre-fishing times, so everybody gets super, super good at it before we have to worry about any problems.
Yeah, it does make a difference if you're familiar with, and there's little things like make sure you have the tournament on your phone and open and ready to go when you catch a fish. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there fumbling around trying to find the tournament, trying to get in, and it's all this extra stuff that you don't need to do. Just get in there before you go fishing.
Yeah. Well, thanks for jumping on. You're up at the cabin. It looks like. Doesn't look like you're home.
Yeah. I barely got back in time. I was trying.
See, time management. It's all about time management.
It was fine, but there was this big ice ridge, and when I was driving back, I couldn't get over it. I had to drive a long ways around it.
Yeah, it's definitely that time of year. So, well, Darren, thanks for jumping on with us, and we're excited to get the season kicked off and running with Fish Donkey and doing all the stuff. So,
all right, thanks. Thank you, Jim.
Awesome. Yep, thanks. All right, well, that's what we've got for the week. Like I said, reach out to me, phone, text, email, Facebook Messenger with questions that you have. Fish Donkey support is super good. If you can't get a hold of me for some reason, you can reach out to Fish Donkey with questions. But until next time, we'll be back on next week at 6:30 as well. This will be a weekly. From here on out, we'll be on weekly. I think that Sunday evening works well. We get a lot of folks on to watch, and then all of these will save right to our Facebook page to be watched at a later date if you so choose. Until next week, have a good week.